understand it as deeply as you possibly have to.
Okay, yeah, I mean, obviously I knew the record, I'd heard the record many times, but when you actually have the multi-track tapes in front of you, there's a deeper understanding that comes obviously from being able to deconstruct and then reconstruct the album. So for me, I think there is some punk in this. I think there is some punk. I mean, you know, you were talking about guitar and pen. I think it's lyrically, it's very meta, isn't it? There's lots of these songs about the very process of writing songs. Yeah. You've got a new song, you've got Music Must Change, which is kind of a punk, you know, sort of philosophy in a way. Yeah, Music Must Change. And actually, interesting, one of the things I had the most fun doing was mixing the alternate stuff. And there's a version of Who Are You, which you guys have probably heard, these guys probably haven't heard it yet. The version of Who Are You with Pete singing, which is furious.
Yeah, it's great.
It's really angry, it kind of breaks down towards the end. But it's really, really got that punk end. I mean, he's pissed. It sounds like he's pissed off. So I think there is a little bit of that in there too. And I think the more I kind of went into it, the more I felt like I wanted to turn the guitars up a bit from the original mix. Not de-emphasise the synthesizers, but maybe just put the guitars on an equal footing.
Yeah.
Because they felt they were slightly subdued.
Yeah. So Richard, in terms of, at the risk of sounding enormously pretentious, but it's never stopped me before, the visual language of The Who leading up to this record, because it's stylistically, it's a shift, it's philosophically a shift, but you as well, approaching, we're going to talk about the album cover obviously, where were their heads at? Because this doesn't look like previous albums. The campaign we saw isn't like previous album campaigns. Where did it start?
Well, it's very interesting because by this time, bands weren't really having their photographs on their album covers. I mean, you know, my background, I started working at Hypnosis with Aubrey Powell and Storm Thorgerson, and we made every effort we possibly could not to put any band picture on the cover. You know, you don't see Pink Floyd on any of their album covers. And so when I started working, 1978, I'd started working for The Who in 76, and just after Who by Numbers had come out, and I wasn't involved in that. So, and I wasn't actually involved in this at all, but I was working for The Who doing other bits and pieces. And when this came out and I saw the cover, I thought, oh, it's just an old album cover with 4 blokes on, you know. But it isn't. I mean, the more you look at it, especially now, 50 years on or 47 years on, it's quite extraordinary. You've got 4 complete individuals here.
Yeah, exactly.
And each one completely and utterly different.
They don't look happy to be there, do they?
Oh, very much so. They're very much so. And, you know, it's still the Horrible Lou from Shepherd's Bush and from Acton. It's still that nucleus of the same band, the same spirit that was there in the My Generation album cover, the 4 of them looking up.
Yeah.
But here, you see all these 4 different people. Pete, by this time, was toying with punk, and I remember at this time he fell in love with the Clash, not just their music, but their image, and he started dressing just like Joe Strummer and other guys in the Clash, and you know, you can tell by I was wearing the same clothes as Pete, not same trousers, but we all wore these narrow leg khaki trousers, and we all got those American Air Force Max from Lawrence Corner. You know, he's never tied a buckle, he always tied a knot. It was very cool to do that. And it was around about the time of, you know, just before the Quadrophenia film came out, so Modism Part 2 was happening all over again, in a quite different way to Modism Part 1 in 1964, 5. That's Pete. And then you look at, let's have a look at John. If you can see John.
Very different image.
It's totally different. He's got the widest loom jeans on you can imagine. And he's also doing that fashion faux pas of double denim. He's got jeans and he's got a denim shirt on, a jacket as a jacket shirt. And a waist. Oh, I've got a waistcoat on. But he's dressing like a rock star. Not a Robert Plant rock star, but he's dressing like a rock star with all his finery and his, you know, you saw probably on the promo film of Who Are You, and you got, even in the recording studio, he's wearing this leather jacket with all the sequins and bits and pieces, where everybody else is wearing t-shirts and dressing down. John's already to get on stage. Then you look at Roger, who's again, he's the sort of antichrist of rock gods. Although he's got the hair, you know, he's got the rock god's hair. He's got Robert Plant's hair. Robert Plant's got Roger's hair. But the T-shirt, by the way, I remember this T-shirt. There used to be a guy who worked at Trinity Management called Chris Chappell, and he and I were kind of the same age and the same interests and what have you. And he was my first introduction to working for the Who, so we were best of pals. And one of Chris's jobs was going out shopping for Roger. So if Roger was doing a tour or something, Chris, go out and get him some clothes. I need some T-shirts. So this particular T-shirt that is so linked to Roger. In fact, there's a girl's T-shirt that came from Topshop.
Seriously?
Yeah. I remember being in the management in Trinity Management on Water Street when Chris came back from shopping, and I said, "Well, I got these T-shirts for Roger, you know, little tiny sleeves up here, very girly kind of thing." But yeah, they were girls' T-shirts.
Wears it well.
He got half a dozen T-shirts from Topshop. So there you go.
We'll come on to Keith in a minute, but